Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. It seems like the class tuning just doesn't stop. We got that massive 11.0.5 class rework update that I'll have linked to at the end of this one if you're interested in it, because there are some core foundational changes coming to a lot of classes that you definitely need to know about. This round of tuning is a lot more straightforward, but is likely going to have some implications that you're going to want to know about moving into the future. If you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, educational and entertaining content, then make sure to smash the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. Now, in this update with Blizzard scheduling weekly maintenance on September 10th, we are going to reduce the effectiveness of a few new class tier sets that would otherwise overperform relative to our targeted values. We will also increase the baseline damage of the affected specs to account for their tier set tuning. We'll then look forward to additional tuning that we will develop during Heroic Week, which will address anything needed for PvP, Mythic Plus, and Mythic Rating on September 17th. The September 10th changes will be. So this is like the last update before Tuesday, and then this is going to be the big tuning week where they start hammering things. This is where you don't want to be in S tier specialization for this week. That seems like the main danger zone right now. You want to be like mid at best, not noticed. You know what is it called? Like poppy syndrome, when the poppy grows too high and it gets cut by the blade. Yeah, you don't. This sentence right here makes me very worried if you're a spec if the poppy's getting a little bit too high in any of this content. But they've been really good as far as like ongoing and active tuning, as far as, you know, redirecting and making new metas throughout Dragonflight. And it seems like the core foundations, this big change towards reducing self-healing and self-effectiveness for DPS, is likely going to create for a lot more fun gameplay in PvP, Mythic Plus, and Mythic Rating. You know, healers are going to need to heal again. Tanks are going to be able to just totally sustain themselves without some help from the healer. And DPS likely won't be spending all of their time at 100% health in engagements because of the changes that they made so far and the changes that they continue to make. So I have good faith that the changes that they come up with will likely be good. But let's take a look at the specific ones that are coming. For Unholy Death Knight, you're immediately getting buffed by 5%. So this is going to feel like a buff on Tuesday because you don't have your set bonus yet that's being nerfed. The set bonus is being reduced from 2% haste to 1% haste when summoning a minion, and this is up to a maximum of 4. Previously it was 8. So I could see, you know, with how many minions you're summoning with the 4 horsemen, I would assume are included with this, that you're likely going to be getting a lot of haste. So 8% haste scaled up like that right in the first season, especially because secondary stats are squished so much, probably would have been a lot of scaling. But still, on Tuesday, Unholy DK will likely feel, I would say, like decently stronger. Its damage is already high, so buffing it by 5% is likely going to feel like a pretty like big starting point, which honestly puts you on the radar for this. So maybe you don't really want that. For Blood is also getting 5% damage increase, and their 4-set bonus damage is increased by 0.5% per bone shield, down from 1%. So again, once you get the set bonus, this is gonna like all even out, but initially, at least in PvP scenarios, this will probably feel like a buff. I haven't seen Blood DK, at least in PvP, being too big of a deal as far as that. But even in PvE, this 5% buff, like you didn't have the set bonus before, so you're initially gonna get a bit of a spike here on this first week. Demon Hunters, you're getting a 4% damage buff. Honestly, Demon Hunter kind of just needed a buff, period. At least in PvP, is feeling like very below mid. But what are they trading off for that right now? Your 4-piece damage of Chaos Strike reduced to 12, down from 20, and now reduces the Fury cost of Blade Dance by 30, down from 50. So likely Demon Hunter was really going to need set bonuses to feel good. Losing 8% on your Chaos Strike, but giving 4% on everything else. I think that most of your damage is still coming. Is it still coming from I-Beam, Demon Hunters? Because I feel like that was the last change we got for PvP, was like making I-Beam bigger. But 4%, I don't think any of the numbers that Demon Hunter's hitting for are like really high numbers. So 4% increase might not be felt that much. It will likely feel like a buff, at least on Tuesday, until you get the set bonus. And then after that, you'll feel weaker than you were in the beta. For Vengeance Demon Hunter, similar treatment. You're getting the 3% damage increase, but your 2-set bonus, Soul Cleave damage reduced to 10% from 15, and Soul Cleave has a 25% chance to shatter 1 lesser soul fragment, was 35. I don't think you're going to feel this in probably any of the game with a 3% change initially on Tuesday to a tank spec. But losing that much on your set bonus, you're probably going to feel a bit. I feel like Soul Cleave, at least in AoE situations, is going to be doing a lot less. But maybe it trades off with the Devastate. Not a big deal, I think, with the tanks. For Devastation Evoker, 3% damage increase, but your 2-piece and your 4-piece are getting nerfed. Damage of Disintegrate and Pyre are only going to be increased by 6%, down from 10. And Eternity Surge's cooldown is only going to be reduced by 3 seconds, down from 5. I don't know how big of a deal that the cooldown reduction will be. But this 4% damage here, but then the trade-off is 3% everywhere else. Obviously, Disintegrate's like your main focus point of damage, so this may feel like more of a nerf. But again, on Tuesday, you're just going to be 3% stronger initially because you didn't have the set bonus anyways. For enhancement, you're getting 2% increased damage to all of your abilities. But your 2-piece, which was Storm Strike, Lava Lash, and Ice Strike, and Crash Lightning, deals 6% down from 15. These are really big abilities, I think. At least, maybe not so much Ice Strike. I think it's mostly Frost Shock, but Lava Lash and Storm Strike, pretty big deal. Crash Lightning in PvE, I think, is more of a big deal. PvP, it's not really going to matter that much. And the 2% change isn't really going to do a lot there. I think, if anything, with these changes coming through, Unholy DK is the big winner. Unholy DK was already in a really good spot. I'm going to be releasing some videos here in the coming weeks, or not weeks, sorry, days. I'm totally fried with how late it is now. But I'm going to be releasing some videos about like top 10 arena compositions. What are some good combos that you could be running going into the start of the season for the first week? They're likely going to increase your odds of success. Do note that they changed the PvP rewards as well. You're able to get more pieces of your elite set at lower rating. Instead of just getting all of it at 1800, it's like you'll get helmet and pants at different rating brackets from 1000 rating, I think, all the way up to 1800. So it should likely incentivize people more to continue pushing and try and get up to that bracket. And they also lowered the enchant, the illusion, which gives you like a little weapon glow. I think this time around it's like a radiant fire type of enchant. They've lowered it to 1950. So that's now there's actually a significant reward that's above 1800 that isn't 2100, which was 300 rating away. I really like that they reduced the gaps between each of the rewards. You've got like something to look forward to, like every 100 to 150 rating. I think that breakdown is a lot better than leaving like a 200 rating gap. Not to mention that I think PvEers are going to be jumping into PvP as well to get some conquest pieces because they can be socketed with honor. So the game is going to be popping when it comes to Tuesday. I'm really excited for that. If you'd like to tune into my journey live, I'm streaming pretty much every day. It's linked in the description down below. I appreciate all of you that have come over there that already have at this point. It's been a real blast. I've been trying out a ton of specs. I'm loving Affliction and Frost. They're obviously like the strongest specs at the moment, but today I dabbled in a bit of Arcane and it felt really fun. I felt like the Needler from Halo with the little pistols shooting out those little missiles. Tried some Destro. It did decent damage, but it was feeling a little bit more mid than the other specs that I've tried so far. And then obviously I did some Enhancement Shaman since the buffs, and it is doing some pretty chunky damage. I got some kind of funny World PvP clips that I'm likely going to be turning into some shorts and some videos on the channel here as well today. But it's still kind of, it's not much like Destro where it feels a little bit mid. Like it's got its moments, it's got its quirks, but I think the rework for Enhance and 11.0.5 is going to likely be the redeeming factor there, and not to mention the synergies that you're probably going to have with something like a Paladin with all the changes that they've made to their freedom effects to give melee DPS more mobility. So I'm very excited for all the changes coming through. I can't wait for the season to start. It felt like it's been like 2 months with no rated PvP content. Battleground Blitz, new feature, huge population, game is doing really well. Love all the class changes. They're updating all the visuals that everybody was complaining about. It's moving in a really good direction, and I want it. I want it now real bad. So thank you guys for tuning into the video for this quick little update, and I will see you guys in the next one.